it was on the ground. I was having Starlink just like on the ground and pointing towards the sky. But then I put it on my roof, so now it's like 1,000 times better because it's just a better signal of the sky. Like there's no trees in the way. Anyway, so
sick. There you go, dude.
I'm excited about the internet being way better with Starlink. It's like way better. Man. It's life changing. That's exactly right. All right, let's see. I'm getting the live started. Okay, let's make sure we're dialed in. Cool, man. We're live right now, but I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna start officially in like a minute or something. You got a water bottle? In case you get thirsty? You got it?
I got it, man.
You're good?
Got the Stanley.
Man, we already got Adonis Valdez saying we haven't even started this stream and he's already 250. What leads are and from where? Hey, Adonis, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna tell you everything, man. We're not gonna hold anything back, right? Right, Caden? We're gonna lay it all out.
We're gonna lay it all out and break it all down.
Okay. All right. I think we're good. So, dude, that's awesome. Adonis he's ready to go. All right, everybody, what's going on? This is the Painless Flipping Podcast, and basically what we do here is we talk to real investors that are taking action, and we ask them real questions about their journeys, how they got started. And right here I'm with Caden. He's one of my clients that basically we got started before you had ever even done a real estate deal, right? Like you just fresh starting out
from scratch.
And as someone just asked that's on the live stream, they said $250 for getting 2 deals which equaled $40,000. Like, how the heck is that even possible? So is that true? Did you actually do that, Caden?
I did. Yep. I spent a lot of time in real estate before that happened.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of time, a lot of failures that happened along the way to get there. But yes, that is true.
So it sounds cool, like $250 to get 40,000, but like that's not the full story, right? Obviously, there's a lot involved. So before we dive into that, I got one question for you. What's the biggest deal you've done since you started working with us? Do you know what the biggest assignment fee is?
Yeah. The biggest fee that I've got was a $35,000 assignment fee on one deal.
That felt nice, didn't it?
Yeah. That one hit nice. That was good.
Hey, those are always great. The little ones are okay, but when you get a big one like that, it just feels so good.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into breaking down those deals you did or what you're up to now, I kind of want to take a journey back so people can get to know you better and see where you kind of came from. So what were you doing before you got into real estate? What were you up to?
Yeah, well, I was in the pest control industry. I got into pest by doing door-to-door sales, something that you were also involved in way back when.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, did door-to-door sales, ended up taking a management position as a branch manager for a branch. And I was working that for a while. And I mean, I didn't have, it was a decent job, but I didn't really have much of a direction at that point. I dropped out of college, had this job opportunity and was just running with it. And I was still young. And then I'd heard about wholesaling and real estate and stuff and just got interested, wanted to look more into it. And I joined a coaching program with one of the big YouTubers that I'd been following for a little while. And yeah, I joined his program and, spent a bunch of money, did everything he was telling me to do and didn't really see any success from that. Got to the point where I kind of ran out of money. My marketing budget was no longer there. And I'm like, well, now what, right? And then I was able to get connected with Nathan. We connected, I hit him up and I started learning from him and doing things that he was recommending that I do. So I kept grinding, kept doing things. And it was probably another, 8 months that I was doing things. I was definitely getting closer to deals, definitely learning a lot more, felt more confident about the process. But then I finally decided to take the leap into inbound marketing and buying leads. And that's where I spent my first $250 that immediately gave me 2 hot leads that both turned into deals.
Insane. That's
Yeah.
insane. So let's break all that down. I'm curious. So when you got into that coaching program with that YouTuber, what was he telling you to do, and what did you spend your money on? And do you feel like you would see different results now than if back then, like doing the exact same strategy? So that's a loaded question. So let's just start with what were you doing for marketing, and what was he having you do?
Well, he basically recommended um, all the cold methods. So all the outbound stuff, right? So he's like, you can either, hit these leads yourself, grind it
Mhm.
out and cold call, or you can do direct mail. You can get a VA to call for you. You can do all these different things, but it was basically all outbound
Yeah,
focused.
right. Cold.
And I didn't feel like I really had the sales process either that I was able to learn from him. It was basically just, you know, cold call and make offers. And that was pretty much as deep as it got, you
And that's
know?
what that's what you were doing too, right? You were cold
Yeah.
calling and making offers, and people were like, "Man, get lost," right? Like, what was happening
Yeah.
when you were making offers to those
Well,
leads?
I mean, first of all, I wasn't really even getting that far with the leads because it just takes volume, man. Like to cold call outbound leads, you got to get through a lot of leads to find one that's actually like motivated to sell.
Yeah,
You're
it's
going through
true.
these lists.
What
And so,
what
I
list
mean, I
were
didn't
you
even
doing,
get
by the
that
way?
far.
What
There
list
was
were
a
you doing?
few, what was that?
What list were you doing, by the way?
I think I was all over the place. I was doing vacant homes. I was doing tired landlords. I was doing pre foreclosures. I was just kind of all over the place, just
Right.
doing all kinds of stuff, trying stuff. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
there was a couple leads that I got close on, and yeah, I mean, it just wasn't a very advanced sales process. It was just like take a shot in the dark
Yeah.
and see if it sticks, and it's not quite as effective doing it that way.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. That's good info for everybody that's watching. So you did the outbound cold method of. Did you hired some people too, right?
I hired a VA and she was cold calling for me. Yeah. So I was doing all of that and felt like I was getting through a decent amount of volume with hiring someone to do it for me because I was working a full-time job.
Right.
I had a new baby at the time. I didn't have time to cold call as much as I felt like I needed to. And going through all of that and feeling like, man, even with all of that and having someone else cold call me for me, like that still wasn't enough. I felt
Yeah.
kind of discouraged at the time, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't feel confident in spending however many days, months, years it's going to take for me to cold call myself to
Right.
actually just get one deal. You
Yeah.
know?
I agree. I think the list game, like of pulling lists, absentee owners, vacants, tired landlords. I mean, you named them, right? Like it's such a grind. It's such a grind, right? And you need like so many virtual assistants to be doing it, or AI if you can leverage AI. I still think even AI, like even with that, like it's just so much volume, right? And you did mailers too, or was it just the cold calling?
I did direct mail also. Hmm.
And direct mail, I've never had a good experience with direct mail. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on direct
Really?
mail. Yeah, I don't know if you did how much you did of it, but it's just never been a good return for me. Like I've made money, but
Yeah.
it's not enough to want to do it. Keep doing it, you know?
Yeah. I got a few people to call me back. Um, like I said, just didn't have the sales process dialed to where I was able to capitalize on those opportunities. So I don't even know if they really were great opportunities or not. Um, I wasn't prepared to handle them.
So that's a good point. So not only do you need to generate leads, but you need to be able to capture them with a good sales process, right? Like what they teach, or I think what that big YouTuber was teaching is just to make offers that were in the money, right? Like to run the formula and make an offer. But like that's not
Yeah.
a good sales process, is it? Like I know it's not, but what was your
I mean,
experience?
it's really just a numbers game, is what he's suggesting. Is just, the more offers that you make, the more deals that you'll get. And just, it's basically just like a chance type deal. Like it's just volume. Like
Yeah.
eventually something's going to stick if you make enough offers. Eventually you're going to meet someone at the right time, at the right moment, and they're going to say yes to whatever offer you make. That's kind of the mentality there.
Gotcha.
And I would much rather have more control over each and every opportunity and really do my best to, put them through a sales process that's effective so that I can be not just lucky, but good at what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think you definitely need 100% you need both because, I'd hate to lose a deal by just doing volume and losing, like making a low ball offer to someone that would have probably said yes if I took a little bit more time or was more tactful, right? More strategic with, taking them through the right sales process. Okay. So you did that. Didn't really work out. So once you started working with me, what I told you to do was like, hey, instead of doing the volume thing in the sense of hitting up like tons of cold calling and just doing a massive list, I said, hey, just go knock on pre-foreclosures, right? Because I was like, that's going to at least get you in front of people somewhat that are interested. And I know you did that for a while, but it's hard to stay consistent. At least you tell me your experience with that, because I remember you had somebody that I don't know how much you did of it or how long you did it, but I think you had somebody that another wholesaler locked up and was able to wholesale their house, and you were really close on it. But tell me your experience with that, because that's what I told you back in the day. I was like, that was probably a year ago. I was like, hey, if you don't have money to invest, like I would go knock pre-foreclosures. So yeah, tell me what happened.
Yeah, no, I got really close on a handful of opportunities. I feel like I stayed really consistent with it. It was probably an 8-month process to where I was doing that. I was cold calling, and then every Saturday I would go out and I'd knock because I couldn't really do it throughout the week. I was working and had my kid and stuff. So every Saturday I'd go out and knock, and I'd have a plan, and I'd try to make the route as efficient as possible. I was living in Utah at the time, and I was just like trying to get through as many houses as I could in one day, as efficiently as I could.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I got close. It's just the same issue. It just requires so much volume.
I know.
And there's only so many houses you can hit in person on one day a week,
Right.
So it's a volume deal. Whenever it's outbound, you're dealing with a volume issue because you don't know, of all these leads that you're talking to, that you're trying to reach out to, you don't know how many of them really fit what you're trying to help solve,
Yeah.
because
Are they
most
motivated?
people have other options. Most people can list their house. Most people can figure something else out besides just giving their house away at a huge discount, right? People that we serve are the people that really just don't have another option.
Yeah, they don't have other options, or they want convenience, and then they'll let you do a novation, right?
So it's kind of a needle in a haystack in that sense, to where you have to get through the whole freaking haystack to find that needle, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you did that, got kind of close, and then you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna bite the bullet, and I'm gonna start paying for inbound leads. That's basically what you went to, right?
Yeah.
Now, before we get into the kind of the process that you did to get that 40K and what you're doing now, for anybody that's listening and they're in the situation that you were in, where they're like, man, I don't have any money to do this. I just have time. And you've been doing this recently more now, but I really think like the fastest way to get a deal and the least amount of volume is to work other wholesalers deals, to JV co-wholesale, because you're not having to find that needle in the haystack. There's hundreds and hundreds of opportunities of people that are wholesalers that are out there. You just have to get good at calling the buyers and getting them to go see the properties. That's where the money is. That's where the squeeze or the juice is like, you got to get good at getting someone to go there, because really wholesalers, they might have the price wrong, or they might have it way overpriced or whatever, but they're motivated too. There's wholesale. You've been in this situation where you're like, man, I wish I just had a buyer. I wish I just had a legit offer. When you're running the process. So I think JVing, co-wholesaling is the best option for doing that if you're on a budget or direct to agent and you're really involved in that. I've done deals with pre-foreclosures, but it's tough, man. I told you to do that, and it does work with the volume, but it's not like they're super motivated when they're in pre-foreclosure either. Like they're like, hey, I haven't been paying my bills for a long time. I'm just going to keep not paying my mortgage, Yeah.
Like, more times than not, they're in denial, and they're like, yeah, everything's fine. Like, I don't have an issue.
Yeah.
I don't need you to help me solve a problem that I don't have.
Yeah. Like we did a 35, our last pre-foreclosure was like $35,000, and which is great. But again, so much volume. All right. So after you did that, and like I just recommended, there's JVing if you're on a low budget. if you have money to invest, and that's what you did, you got a credit card, you kind of you bit the bullet, I guess this is what we could say. And you're like, okay, let me invest in pay-per-click, or not pay-per-click, pay-per-lead. So you did that. Yeah. Run us through that journey.
Yeah, so I started Paper Lead, and the lead source company that I was using actually had really affordable leads. So it was just $50 a lead, which was sweet. So I started getting leads, and yeah, I mean, my first 5 leads turned into 2 really great opportunities. So it was $250 ad spend. The first one was actually the first lead that came in of the 5.
That's
And
wild.
yeah, it was my first deal that I ever did, and it turned into a $15,000 assignment. And so my eyes were immediately opened, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've been grinding for it. Probably been a year and a half, almost 2 years at that point." And I was just like, "This is amazing! Like
Yeah.
I've been grinding outbound this whole time, working so hard, and I just spent $50, and I immediately got a deal and got 15K. So it
Yeah,
was the best
man.
feeling in the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then you did another one, and that one was what, 25,000?
Yeah, yeah. Then lead number 1, and lead number 5 was a $25,000 deal. So I made $40,000 from a $250 ad spend.
And I told you, and you know this now, it's like, hey, that's amazing and incredible. And if you could replicate that, that would be the greatest thing in the world. But it's going to ebb and flow, and it's going to even out. Like the normal cost per lead to cost per contract is usually like $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah,
So that's probably more where you're at now. But like,
yeah,
yes,
for
those
sure.
are awesome. Those are awesome numbers at 250, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. You're currently not using that lead source, right? The one they gave you 50. You went more
I'm
to the
actually
other one.
not anymore. It turned out that at volume, I was not getting good quality leads,
Yeah.
which is funny with how awesome it was at first. Like bang bang, like the first couple that I
Yeah.
got were just right there for me. So
So let's talk about why Paper Lead I think is the greatest lead source out there. It's because it's inbound, right? The best part about it, in my opinion, is like if you spent 50 or 100 or $1,000 on cold calling, like a cold caller, and they produce a bunch of leads and those leads suck, like you don't get a refund. Like you don't get to get your money back. But with Paper Lead, the specific Paper Lead companies, they'll refund your money if you can't get a hold of the person, which is like the craziest thing ever, which helps your
yeah,
marketing costs like a ton, like to stay low. Because if you didn't have that, you'd be getting how wrecked would you be getting right now? Like if you couldn't refund some of the leads that you can't get a hold of,
it'd be
it'd be
rough, man. It'd be
it'd
rough.
be
I'll be
expensive.
honest though. So that other company that I'm not using anymore, I really needed those refunds because they were giving me so many leads that
Yeah,
just weren't anything. But now that I'm with a different company, I'm really just getting high quality leads. Like almost every single one of these leads that I get, they're answering the phone, and I'm able to have a qualifying conversation
that's
with them.
awesome.
And so it's just a lot better. So I don't even really need the refunds as much now,
That's
because
good.
of that. I'm just getting higher quality. Doesn't mean they're going to be motivated sellers. Most of these people are going to be better off listing their house, and that's fine. That's how it goes. But I'm actually able to get through to them. They're higher quality leads. They are interested in selling, and I can get them through the sales process.
Yeah. So someone asked if this is live, and yes, this is live. So we use 2 companies. Well, the one we were using before is called Homelight, and it's cheaper, but you gotta the quality isn't as high. And the one we use now is Property Leads, and it does ebb and flow, right? There's companies that we've tried, and we're gonna go with whichever one gives the best deal, gives the best price. But Property Leads right now is the best one that we've seen. Especially like if you get tight with your manager, or if you like talk to them, they'll give you, I mean, they're running your campaign, right? So you can kind of give them feedback on, because you've talked to them and been like, hey,
Right.
what's going on? The leads to slow down, or, the quality, they'll work with you. So I like
Yeah.
them a lot. And if you guys, obviously, if anybody's interested in using them, or a discounted link, like if I give you the link to use, you can get a little bit of a discount on working with them. But just comment if you're interested in that. But okay, so you started paying for leads, and you can get a refund, but if they're qualified, you don't need to, and you can just work them. Yeah, that's what been my experience is like, it's the best lead source out there because when you're doing mail, like you're really looking for that needle in the haystack. Like if you send mail and then they get maybe 100 different mailers for everybody else, then maybe they call you, maybe they don't. It's just not as good.
Yeah.
What else? What other? What else has been your experience with paying for leads? Like, do you have any other feedback or any lessons learned from the lead source that you're getting right now?
Lessons learned. Not super. I mean, I think it's really just, yeah, I think it's just what I was already saying. I think that over time, I just realized that the other lead company that I was using, there was just so many leads that I couldn't even get a hold of. Just much slower quality leads that I was getting. And ever since I switched, it's just been a lot better. That's really just been my experience with it all. There's not a whole lot else to it that I've been dealing with.
Okay. Yeah,
It's nice to,
it makes it
I
a lot
just
more
love to be able
simple.
to get a hold of the seller and actually have a qualifying conversation with these people. I would say that 95% I'm able to have a qualifying conversation with.
That's sick. Now, let me ask you this: like, how important has been the sales process that we've taught you about not just being like, "Hey, I'm the buyer. This is my offer. Take it or leave it." Like, how has that helped you to have the right conversations and work with these leads?
Yeah, I think it's everything, man. I think that it's, real estate and doing what we do, it is the biggest purchase that these people ever make. So it's a big deal, man. Like you really gotta establish a relationship with these people. Um, you need to be sensitive to their situation because 100% of them are going through something. You
Right.
got to be sensitive to the situation, and I just think that the sales process that you guys have taught me is just so much more effective because it takes luck out of the equation. It really allows you to control the process and find out whether or not they're really the type of seller that is even willing to sell their home to someone like us.
Yeah.
And then you're able to kind of control the conversation to where you don't just get ghosted like everybody else and really get to a place to where you can help serve the seller at the best way possible.
Yeah. So what we talk about a lot is the pre-flip method, where like sometimes if you're talking to a seller that's talking to multiple people and they don't want to sign anything yet, but they're still interested, we go and find a buyer. We go find a buyer before we even make the offer. Have you ran that a lot, or have most of the sellers been able to just, you lock them up and you tell them what you're doing and just you lock them up under contract and then dispo it?
I've done both. I would
Yeah.
say that more often than not, I'm locking it up, but I don't just, the sales process is still so different than traditional wholesaling. I'm not
Right.
just throwing out a specific offer at a specific number, like a take it or leave it type deal. I am really pulling out of them the situation. I'm pulling out of them what their real goals are, what their timeline is, all of these things to the point to where they're telling me what they want. I'm pushing them, I'm kind of pushing them away and they're
Yeah.
coming to me.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to explain it, right? Because the thing is, like, if you're talking to a seller and you make them an offer at 250, right? Like, and you've had this experience, 250, and you go in, there's no one interested in 250. You really like paint yourself into a corner where you're like, well, I can do one price drop and hope I can find someone that will buy it at that price. But if that doesn't work, then you're kind of screwed. Or they might not even want to work with you because they trusted that you were going to buy it at 250. But with what
Right.
we do, it's like, hey, if the offer that you originally make or you tell them that you think it is around like doesn't work, like they're still willing to work with you because they trust you, right?
Yeah. And, transparency is everything. And I tell every seller this. Even when I get to the point where they're telling me exactly what they want and it's a price that might work, I'm still not even saying, okay, yes, I can do this number and we can sign it. I'm telling them instead, yeah, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get up to that number. But, I do have actually a lot of relationships that might be able to even pay more than I can. So I tell you
Perfect.
what, let's do this. Let's put a contract together at the number that you want, at this number that I know probably works. And let's see how close we can get to that. So I'm
Perfect.
still not even telling them that I can do a specific number. I'm saying, I want to help you get your number. Let's see how close we can get. So I did a number of different things by doing that. One, I told them basically that I'm a wholesaler without telling them I'm a wholesaler.
Yeah.
So I'm being transparent about that up front. Two, I'm telling them I can't guarantee you that we're going to get 250. We're going to see if we can. We're going to see how close we can get,
Right.
but I can't guarantee it. So I'm just as I'm just completely transparent about the process to where when we get offers that come in lower, they're not mad. They knew what they were getting into. That was already the expectation. And it's a much smoother process because if you tell someone, I'm going to buy your house at 250, 100% done deal, and then you come back and say, oh, actually, I can't, but I'm going to have this other guy buy it, but he's 30 grand lower. They're
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about, dude? You told me you were going to buy my house at 250.
Yeah, not only that, but when you do the dispo process and you run like 20 buyers through, they're like, what is going on?
Who are
And
all
that,
these people?
yeah. And it's kind of a sketchy process to like dispo a house, like when you tell them you're going to buy it and you send a bunch of people through. And that's why a lot of wholesalers are worried about that process. But when you tell them, hey, I have a lot of relationships, I'm going to buy this or I'm going to work with someone that will,
Yeah.
they don't care who goes and
Yeah.
sees the house, right?
As long as you're transparent about it, if they don't feel like you're being sneaky about it or doing something alternative to what you said you were going to do,
Right.
people don't care. People aren't mad at Costco for wholesaling their products to you. You know,
Nah.
they're just happy that they got it and it's convenient.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way. Shout out to Costco, Kirkland signature, bro. No, that's exactly right. And I think there's just so many wholesalers out there that just like they think they need to just lie or they need to just tell the seller like, yeah, I'm buying it. Like, no, like maybe I'll buy it, but maybe I won't. But either way, we're gonna get you around your number with whether
Yeah.
I do it or someone else does. You know.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: like, how what does your process look like once you get a lead? That's what I want to know. For anyone that's watching, they probably want to know, okay, once you get a lead, what does that look like?
Once I get a brand new lead that I haven't spoken to yet.
Yeah, like what's the process you take them through?
Yeah. So I call the lead, get them on the phone, and it's really just questions. I'm just asking questions. I'm not trying to sell myself. I'm not trying to just throw offers out. I'm just asking questions and really just trying to uncover the motivation, uncover their timeline, and just learn as much as I can about their situation and what they want to do with the house. That's really the biggest thing. And usually that takes a few phone calls to get through that whole process. I'll talk to them. I'll have the initial discovery call, ask them as many questions as I can. And then typically I'll want to see the house. So I'll ask for pictures or I'll go walk it or I'll meet them in person. And then we continue to have more discussions. And it's really just the whole process is me just trying to pull out of them, what do you really want? Like maybe you should go list it with an agent. Like, why not just do that? And really figuring out whether or not they would seriously consider just going with it. Because if you can, I mean, you should just do that. You probably walk away with at least a little bit more money in your pocket when it's all said and done. I mean, yeah, it's a headache. It's this, it's that. But you might be better off doing that. Have you ever considered just renting it out? Like, you could do that. I'm just pushing them away. And they're having to tell me, no, I don't want to list it. I don't want to rent it. I don't want to spend the money or time to fix it up. I just want a quick cash offer. I want it at this price.
Perfect. Now let me ask you this. If you were to do the traditional way of wholesaling and the sales process where you just make an offer and you are the buyer, like, and that's it. How do you think those deals that you've done or the conversations that you're having right now would go? Do you feel like you would have been able to get those deals? Is it hard to even say? Like,
I think it's hard to say. I think it just would have been all up to chance. It would have been luck. If I did, it would have been luck. And I think it probably would have been low chance that I would have got it done.
Luck,
It's just, you just lose control. It's
Dude,
you just turn it over to chance because these sellers, even if they would do it, these guys are really emotional. They're going through stuff, right?
right.
And I mean, if you catch them at the wrong time of day, they could just be like, "No, dude." When the next day, maybe they would have said yes. You know,
Yeah. No, that's true.
if you handle it that way.
The hardest part I find about making offers like that too, where you're just like guessing on a number, is you've seen this. Like you get surprised every time when you get offers from buyers. Like it's like so hard to know what someone will pay. Like someone might pay $20,000 more than you think the highest offer would come in at. So
Right.
has that happened a lot to you where you're like surprised by what people are offering? Like
Yeah, I mean, I'm working one right now where I'm going through that, and it's really just because it's in a rural area. So I had a seller contracted at 350. I knew it was a little bit high, but I was transparent about it. I was like,
Yeah,
let's see if we can get there. I knew that they probably would have taken an offer from somebody else that was as high or higher and probably would have had a really bad experience. And so, I was like, whatever, I'll tell them we can contract at this price while being transparent about the fact that, listen, I don't know if we can do this. Like, we'll see what people say, but we can try, right?
right.
And so I'm controlling the deal, making sure that they're working with someone that's going to put them through a transparent process and get them truly the highest offer that they possibly can get.
Right.
But because it's in a rural area, we've had like 5 price drops now. And so
how it
they
is.
were at 350, they dropped to 335, they dropped to 320, 315, 310, 305. Now they're at 295. And so we've just gone through this process. And because I was able to uncover that, hey, this is the right type of seller. They truly don't want to go with this option. They can't do this. They can't do this. This really is their only option. I've got the right seller here. Now let's go through the sales process and talk to the buyers and see how much we can possibly get for them.
You know what is interesting is this is the one where they haven't listed it yet, right? Like you haven't done an ovation.
Yeah, they don't want to list it.
Man, honestly, at this point, it's like, yes, you can keep going and see, but it's like, man, I wish you could somehow get it back, get on the MLS and just say, look, like we've exhausted all options. Like cash offers are going to be way less unless we hit a home run or get lucky. We're going to have to let's just put it on the market and see what happens. Do you think they'd be open to it at some point, or do you think they're just going to like give up?
They're open to doing. So the reason they're against listing it is because I've never come across this before.
Yes, you told me that already. Yep.
Yeah. They agreed to this really weird scammy deal when they bought the home from the previous owner. The previous owner put on a scratch piece of paper, nothing official about it, wrote it down in pen that when they sell the home, that he gets 25% of the proceeds when they sell it. And so for whatever reason, they agreed to this and they signed it because they got pressured into it and they just wanted the house. So they agreed to it. And they're like, hey, we're going to live here forever type mentality. Like whatever, it doesn't matter. And now just only a few years later, they're trying to sell. And so they're worried about that. This guy moved to Texas. He's not nearby, but they're just like, we don't want to put it on the MLS and we want to make sure he doesn't know about this. So they're at the point now where they're open to potentially like doing a private sale or like posting it on Facebook really vaguely to try to get, people in that town interested in calling about it, but they don't want to post it for MLS.
Did they buy the house from the guy on terms like directly, or did they get a loan on it? Like, does he carrying them? Like, is it a creative deal that they purchased it from him? No,
just a traditional purchase.
That's so weird.
The guy's just a weird guy. And I guess he left because he moved to Texas, really far away. And he left like 4-wheelers and a camper on the property. And then like a couple months later, he's like, you owe me 10 grand for all that equipment. And they're like, dude, what are you talking about? You said that you were just leaving it. They're like, wild. Come get it, man. Just like, come get it if you want it type thing. So
that's wild.
He's that type of a guy, sounds like.
Well, what's interesting about what you're going through right now is like the situation of like more rural leads, like where it's not as hot, right? And it's kind of hard to know what a cash buyer would pay just because like it's in a rural area. Like a lot of cash buyers look at that return and investing like completely differently. They're like, yo, like a lot of them don't even think it's worth investing and flipping that house because they might not get someone to buy it, right? So anyway, the process of what we're doing and what you're doing is like key in areas where it's like it's not super hot, right? Because you're gonna have a lot of price drops. You're gonna have like things not work out. They're gonna have to reset their expectation a lot on price because it's just so hard to tell.
Yeah. What's nice though is that when you handle the sales process right, you can get a $55,000 price reduction over a period of time because you set up the expectations correctly, you have the proper relationship, and you understand what their real goals and motivation are. And that process goes really smooth when you do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You would be tripping. I bet you'd be tripping if you were like, I'm the buyer and I got to do another price drop. And then it doesn't work out. You're like, well, I need another one.
They would not give me those price drops if I'd handled it that. Yeah.
Oh, man. Crazy. Okay. So let me ask you this. If the lead doesn't answer, what's the process you take them through for that? Like, I know we've talked about the CRM, but you do something personally, right? Don't you? How many times do you follow up with the lead before you kind of let it go into the drips or the automation follow-up?
So I call them twice. I leave a voicemail, send a text message, and I do that at least twice a day for at least 3 days in a row until I can get a hold of it. If I can't get a hold of it after that, I'm refunding the lead.
I love it. Yeah. And I would say like if they don't answer to any of those at that point, so they're not around anymore or something. I don't know what could have happened if they're not going to respond to that. Curious, like you've been knocking doors on some leads that you've had conversations with them, they've seemed motivated, but you've lost contact with them, or like what is the door knocking? When does that come into play?
Yeah, so I have inbound leads that I either never got a hold of, never had a conversation with, or I spoke with and they just like weren't ready to do anything at the time, or they're just like, yeah, I'm not interested right now. And so I've gone back to those people months later now that are in my local area, and I've door knocked them. And I've actually had pretty good success with that. Most of them, if they weren't home, called me back. I leave a little paper plate on their door with my phone number, and they'll call me back and say, hey, what's going on? And so I've had a few warm leads that turned into some good opportunities. One of them, it was actually funny timing. So I got a buddy of mine that's also a wholesaler in my local market that hit up this same lead that I went and door knocked again at the exact same time. And so we were kind of battling for the lead, but I guess he had a personal relationship with the seller. He was also going to take it down himself and flip it. So he beat me out on that opportunity. But yeah, I mean, it was a great opportunity. It had I done it sooner, or if he wasn't involved at the time, I probably would have got that deal done, And so it's a new strategy that I've been using of old leads that are still local that I haven't been able to get a hold of. I'll go ahead and door knock them, and I've had pretty good success getting a hold of those people. I've had other people that were very receptive to that as well, that I was able to get a hold of, have a conversation with, and that now are either ghosting me or whatever else. But that's all part of the process, and I'll continue to follow up with those people. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good.
I love that you said it's part of the process when they ghost you, because it's like these people are going through things, right? Like, and don't take it personal. If someone stops talking to you, it's not because they dislike you. It's they're going through things, right? The reason why they fill out the information is either they want speed, convenience, and ease. Speed because they have a problem, an issue they need to solve, and life's happening. But yeah, man. So and you've seen that. You've talked to a lot of sellers who, are going through things, right?
Yeah, man. They're definitely going through. One of those people that I door knocked that I was able to reconnect with, she called me. She found my paper plate at her door. She called me. We talked. She acted interested in selling the home. She started telling me about her situation. She was in tears. And then we set an appointment for the next day, and she ghosted me. And so who knows what's going on? She's going through all kinds of stuff.
Right.
She recently lost her husband. She's got a daughter. She's single mother right now, just going through it, trying to make things happen. Who
Yeah,
knows what else is going on? And so you just keep following up and try to be there to help people when they're ready.
that's right. So let me ask you this. What has been the most difficult part about this business or being an entrepreneur, like that maybe you were surprised about? What's been the most difficult part about this?
Probably just the number of things that can go wrong in a deal.
There's a lot.
Because
Crazy.
I got lucky for multiple reasons with those first two deals. Number one, I was lucky that I spent $250 and got two deals out of it. And two, I mean, it was smooth sailing through both of those deals. Like no issues at all. It was just like bing bang boom. What you hear about on YouTube about wholesaling, that was it, man. It was like, sweet, this is how it's gonna be, right?
Great. Yeah.
And it is not how most deals go. I'll tell you that. Or at least
No,
for
it's
me.
not. No, dude, if it's smooth, it's usually an outlier. Let's just be real. Like you're dealing with like
Yeah.
people who have problems, and if they don't have problems, maybe the property has problems, and the buyer discovers it. And if the property doesn't have problems, maybe like the title has problems, right? Like then the title company finds it. So there's a lot of obstacles that can happen, and that's why like being transparent is so important, because you got to be able, like you got to have the seller on your side, like when you go through a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And you can have problems in all those areas you mentioned all at the same time.
exactly. What would you like to tell people that are trying to do this business and get into it? Like, would you recommend they don't do it? Would you recommend that they do it? Would you like, what advice do you have for someone that's trying to get into this?
Advice that I have, I would say advice, I would just say just expect, because like I said, that was unexpected for me. How many things that can go wrong. I would just say expect to deal with problems, man. I think it was what was it? Alex Hermosi or somebody else said the biggest problem is people think they shouldn't have any problems. Right?
Right.
And I think that was a problem for me. I thought that it was going to be smooth sailing every deal, and you just got to expect that there's going to be problems. You got to learn how to become a person that can be comfortable with the problems, because it's how it is. You're going to constantly have problems. It's never going to be a smooth deal. If you do, it's rare. It's an outlier, like you said, and you got to learn how to develop that muscle of dealing with all the problems that come up and not panicking, not freaking out, and learning how to just become a problem solver and stay confident throughout those storms, right?
That's what you get paid for. You get paid to solve problems. That's really what this business is. It's a sales and marketing business, but you have to solve problems for the money you're making. Like that, or no, you wouldn't be worth paying you. So do you think that's portrayed pretty good in the industry? Like when people are watching the content, like how many problems you have to deal with?
No, not at all.
No. So you're surprised. And
I think there's guys too that do not have the sales process that we use. That's very much just traditional wholesaling. And I can only imagine the number of deals that go sideways for these guys that just are like one call close. Yeah, we can give you this price, done. Like there's no way that every single one of those is just smooth to the finish line, right?
You know what, man? The person that's willing to just sign an agreement with someone on the first call is probably just as likely to never answer your phone call again, right? And just sign with someone else. Like, we don't see. I've seen a lot of those videos where they like lock up people. It's like closed deal. It's like, bro, that ain't a closed deal. That's maybe them getting to sign a contract. Getting someone to sign a contract is not hard. It's not hard. How, like, if that was your goal, just to get people to sign contracts, you could get tons of signed contracts. Why? Because you could pretty much tell anyone what they want to believe to sign the agreement and then try renegotiate later. But the chances of them being in the money on where they need to be on that offer, very slim that like a buyer will actually want that. That's obviously I haven't seen all the videos or I haven't talked to all the people, but I'd say there's less than a 50% close. Like actually those deals closing, I'm sure like less than 50% actually close that like do
Yeah.
the one call close. I don't know. What's your opinion on that? Like, do you think those actually don't even make it to the finish line?
I mean, that's how they do all their deals. They're closing some of them for sure, but I would be really interested to know how many they they actually close.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like there is a benefit to locking up someone in a contract because then they can feel like maybe they're not stuck with you, but they can feel like they're locked in. But so many sellers don't care. They'll like
Oh
sign
yeah,
them and they'll never talk to you again. Like you had
yeah.
that happen in the Brigham
I have.
City deal.
Yeah,
You had
that's definitely
you were,
happened multiple times to me. To
yeah.
where we have I even did it the right way. I felt like where I like really put them through a sales process, built rapport. It wasn't just like, boom, I'll give you this offer, done. Okay, sign here. It was like a long conversation to where we were really on the same page. I thought signed an official document, thought we were in this together, and then just was like, no, I'm out. Ghost.
Yeah. And the only thing that can really save you at that point is if they do sign the contract is if you do an affidavit, a memorandum, or cloud the title, right? It's like, hey, you agreed to sell it. I've gone through this process. I'm not going to let you sell it to anyone else unless you sell it to me. The problem with your market is it's a big process to get that filed, right? Like in
You got
Utah,
to get it notarized,
you got to
or
get
they
it
won't accept
notarized.
it.
Yeah, like they have to sign it in front of a notary, and then that's when it's legit. And it's like,
Yeah.
which is like you can add that into the process, but it's like sometimes it doesn't even feel worth it. It's like, hey, if they want to sell to me, they want to sell to me, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah, and like in Utah, in different places, you don't need that, but in a market that you do need that, ooh, good luck, like adding that to your process. So no, man, that's good. That's good. Good advice. That's good stuff.
The other thing that I would say is along with that idea of, a signed contract does not mean you're anywhere close to done, right? And so I don't know if you've seen that video of Kobe Bryant when he's in the finals. They're interviewing after the game,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're like Kobe, like, why do you seem like you're in such a bad mood? He's like, what's there to be happy about? They're like, you're up like 3-1 in the finals. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so. What's there to be happy about?
Bro, that's so funny. Yeah,
So I'm
that's
like,
true.
I gotta adopt that mindset into these deals because I'll get all excited. I'm like, yeah, I got a new deal under contract, and I'm like, you know what? Like, that means nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not celebrating yet until the money's in my pocket.
Job's not finished. Yeah, that's so true. And that's what we're being real about what this business looks like. I think a ton of people that try to do this, they see like the fast check, they see people winning, and it's like, bro, that ain't the reality. The reality is like you deal with crazy sellers, bro. I've almost gotten I've been threatened to be killed. And it's not we're doing anything bad. It's just you're dealing with people who have have problems a lot of the time, right?
Yeah.
We
They're going through it.
They're going through a lot. Like I bought a meth house or wholesaled a meth house once, and the guy wouldn't get out of the house after we assigned it to someone. So we had to get him out, and he was like, I'm gonna kill you. It was crazy. It was insane.
Yeah.
And luckily
I have to go deal with a problem from a deal today after we get off this call.
What
From a
happened?
deal I'm trying to close.
What happened?
It's been a long story. It's been like 4 months in the making now.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that guy in Idaho Falls.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically I had this duplex that I wholesaled and found the buyer. Everything was going pretty smooth up to that point.
Right.
And we were supposed to close in like a week or two. And I get a call from the buyer. Somehow he had been over at the house. I think he was doing some final inspection, and he saw the seller, and the seller told him something. And so the buyer's like, have you talked to the seller yet? I'm like, about what? He's like, you should talk to the seller. Why don't you give him a call? I'm like, oh my gosh. So I call the seller, and he's like, listen, I had arrangements to go live at this place. This guy that I knew said I could live on his property and park my camper there. And I was counting on this. Well, it turns out his wife doesn't want me to live there. So I got nowhere to go. So I'm not selling the property. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, well, if we find you a new place to live, like, are you good to go then? He's like, yeah, I mean, if we can find another place. So the buyer that I had was a real estate agent. And so I'm like, dude, you want to go find our seller a new place to live? He's like, sure. So 3 months, we spend 3 months looking for a house for this guy, for a property or whatever works for him. Finally find him a trailer in Idaho Falls for him to go live at. So we
Right.
put in an offer. He gets an accepted offer on this trailer. Everything's good to go. So through this process, originally the buyer was going to buy it cash. He We spent so much time trying to find this guy a house that he's like, hey, listen, I've got these other opportunities that I want to put my cash towards. Do you mind if I just get a loan instead? I'm like, that's fine, man. Like, this guy's been super cool, helping my seller find a new place. I'm like, I don't care as long as we can get the deal done.
Right.
I'm like, cool. So last week, the bank comes and does the appraisal on the house,
Down.
and of course, the appraisal goes wrong.
Oh god.
And I even hedged the issue with the buyer
Yeah.
because I had another property that the appraisal ruined the deal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man, we got to do an appraisal. He's like, yeah. I'm like, so if the appraisal goes wrong, what then?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it won't go wrong. Like, I've got all the comps. I'm like, but if it does, like,
What then?
what then? Like, are you still gonna do the deal? He's like, yeah, I'm sure I'll make it work. I'll be shocked if that happens. I'm like, all right, bro. Sure enough, they found an issue with the appraisal. The bathrooms in the back are just super. It's a weirdly built house,
Right.
and they're like super low ceilings, so they're lower than what's compliant for a loan. So they just literally won't loan on it. He can't get a loan. So I'm meeting the guy over there today. He's gonna look at the bathrooms, decide like if he needs to like put money into fixing them to make them compliant, raise the ceilings, what he needs to do, and we're gonna game plan a resolution for this situation. So this is just another example of like the types of issues that come up. On top of that, yesterday, the seller calls me.
Uh-huh.
He's like a 60, 70-year-old man. And he says, hey, I went over to the new trailer park that I'm gonna live at to start just like getting things in order. And I was talking to him, and they told me I couldn't have a trampoline in the backyard.
Dude, don't
I'm
even
like,
start.
what? He's like, I love to sleep out on the tramp, man. He's like, I'll jump on it a little bit, but I love to sleep on the tramp. They also said I can't have a fireplace, a fire pit out there. It's like, I love having a fire and sleeping on the tramp. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to live here anymore.
Oh gosh.
So after 3 months of finding this guy a place, now he's saying maybe I don't want to live here.
Maybe I don't want to live.
He's not dipping on the deal yet. He's like, maybe I'll just take the cash and go rent somewhere. But these are the types of things that come up.
These are the types of things that what you're telling me is, man, that's like sounds exactly what I've had to deal with and what we deal with. Like, you don't hear about that kind of stuff, but yeah, like, yeah, I want to sleep on the tramp and I don't want to move in that place anymore. It's like, what? Is that even is this even real life? Right?
Because the 60-year-old seller wants a trampoline in his backyard that he can't have.
Man, that is weird because I don't think, man, like, do you really need a trampoline, sir? Come on.
I'm like, we gotta figure something out that's similar to a trampoline that you can sleep
like,
on.
is a hammock cool? Are you cool with a hammock?
We can figure something out, right?
That's hilarious, man. And that's exactly what happens. Like little things like that, right? Where you're like, hey, I'm not even you almost feel like you're not even in real estate. You feel like you're like a therapist or a counselor sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Like just trying
and
to.
It's stuff that it's like, there's nothing I could have done to prevent that from happening. It's just complete uncontrollables. And you just got to figure out how to resolve it.
Yep. And just when things come up, just be like, oh, I'm not even surprised. You know, that's like the one thing you'll learn about, I would say business in general, but this business is like when a hiccup comes up, don't even be surprised. Be like, oh, something's happened to title. Not surprised. Let's figure it out. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lien that came up. Not surprised.
Yeah. You're expecting to make X amount of dollars on this deal. Expect it to not happen as according to plan. Expect it to take longer or to not make as much, or no, go into it knowing that you probably need to figure something else out to
Yeah.
make the money that you're looking to make, right?
And then
And whenever it happens, you can be super grateful that you got it done.
Yeah, be pleasantly surprised when it's smooth. And those are the best when they're really smooth. And that's why I like JVing a lot, is because you don't really have to deal. It's not that those things don't happen, but you really just bring one piece to the puzzle, right? Like you bring the buyer. Yeah. And the wholesaler that has the deals figures out everything else. So doing a deal directly with sellers is cool, but you don't have to deal with as much when you just do the end part. Now, if anyone's watching this and it's like, oh my gosh, wholesaling sounds like it sucks. I would just say, like, be aware that this is real estate in general. Like, being a real estate agent, you're going to have problems as well. Like, you're going to have appraisals that come in low. You're going to have buyers that, after an inspection, like lowball you like a ton. So this is not just in our industry. I would say it happens a lot in wholesaling just because we deal with people that have issues, but this happens in real estate, period.
Yeah. Right.
So it's kind of crazy. It's crazy what you got to deal with. But hey, if you can make $35,000 on a deal, if you can make 80, 100, whatever the price is, like, yeah, of course you're going to have to be able to solve problems, and it's not always going to be super easy. Right.
Right.
Cool, man. Well, this has been a good chat. Is there anything that you want to leave everybody with before we end today?
Not really, man. I'll just kind of piggyback off what we were just talking about. It's really just about getting comfortable being uncomfortable, man. That's what it is, about learning how to be an entrepreneur and dealing with all the failures that you're going to face. Just keep getting your teeth kicked in is what it feels like, over and over and over again, until you can really get traction, until you can really understand what you're doing. And even once you have the skills down, you still have these problems that you're dealing with, like what I just described. I'm going to try to address this issue literally in an hour. I got to go meet the guy over there and see what we're going to do. Just really getting thick skin and learning how to overcome obstacles is huge.
Dude, and that's the reality of business. And I think the business of this business, or business in general, have been portrayed as like so easy, especially like all this AI nonsense. That's like, oh, I made $1 million in a day with AI. It's like, dude, that's just not the reality. Like, when I first started 8 years ago, like, I was getting my butt kicked. Like, I was losing deals. I was, just name anything. Yeah. And I had to go through it, whether it's like when I started flipping, like when I flip a house, we freaking lost tons of money on flips. We made money. So it's like, I think there's just not enough. I don't think people want to hear like the reality of what business is. I think people just want to hear the good stuff because that's what gets views. But we got to be real. And it's definitely worth it, because now you left your other job, right? You quit your other job and you do this. Your lifestyle is so much better now, right? Like you work at home, you can be home with the kids more, your time, you're your own boss. So like, there's major benefits to working for yourself and being a wholesaler and doing real estate, but pros and cons with everything. Like you don't just get to clock out and not think about work now, right? This is your job. So that's like a con for a lot of people, but the pro is like, you can work whenever you want, wherever you want. So
exactly.
No, I appreciate you being real with people. Well, that's it, man. We'll come and do some more lives for anybody that likes this format and watches this, and we'll kind of go more throughout your journey, talk about wins, what's working, what's not working, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. See you guys later.